Now, you're solving a really good, I would say, problems, right? I think a lot of people don't understand, or maybe at least in my area, right? I've always been very fortunate where you could literally prescribe almost every medication. And even when my pharmacy doesn't have the medication in stock, they were able
Sure.
to get it to me within the next day. So, but the problem really is that when there was like the ADHD meds shortage, some people couldn't find the medication and could not get filled for weeks, which is really where the problem was back in during, I think, COVID, when there was an ADHD med shortage. For an ADHD partner, having to manage their day-to-day symptoms and what they have to do is already taxing for many of them. Then you have to figure out how to get your own medication, which creates another spiral. So
It
it's
does.
actually quite nice to have kind of
It's
your
about changing.
solution there.
One thing can lead to another. Like it's a domino effect of if you have a good ownership and control over the details of your life, that functions as the foundation where you can do more and more things. Versus, I think the bad thing is you feel behind. You do too many things, but it's like trying to juggle 8 things at once. They all fall, and you can rinse and repeat this ineffective cycle. For instance, let's say you forget to deal with your medicine. Okay, so now you're showing up late, or let's say a little bit more careless, as has happened to me. I had this happen. Like either got a bad night of sleep, or didn't take my medicine, didn't have my medicine. Then I like dropped my phone on the pavement. Okay, now that's smashed. So now I'm spending my energy, but it's not going. It's just trying to return to a baseline. And I feel like I'm moving around a lot. Like, okay, now I'm running down to go to the Apple store. I'm fixing my phone. Okay, that's fixed. But now my work is not good. It feels like playing whack-a-mole. And even though it feels like I'm expending a lot of energy going back and forth between places, I'm trying to catch up, etc. It isn't getting there. Versus if you clear the plate and say, okay, we're going to focus on this one crucial domino block. Okay, now my medicine's good for the month. Okay, great. I have that. It means every day I have the ability to focus and sit here and solve the next thing. And knowing that like, sometimes you have to reset. Last night, I sleep pretty regularly, but I had my laptop I turned it on, it was just nothing. I was like, okay, this creates a conundrum. And so then today I basically took half the day off I went to the Apple store, tried solving it, got a laptop, and I'm starting that up. And yes, like now I'm behind, so to speak, but it's like, okay, let's try to put one good domino here. Now I have a laptop and I have the ability to start solving the problem versus without flexibility or margin, if I'd go and tried to I don't know, take my old computer from 10 years ago and restart doing things and it's not working that well. And now I'm throwing all this energy in. I think meditation is important because, well, okay, oh man, I'm doing this. Like I can see a lot of things are sticking up. When you do that, I think you respond a little bit less than knee-jerk response. I'm like, oh, this isn't great. But I'm not like, I didn't sit there and be like, I swear. I was like, okay, the computer isn't working. Well, okay, I'm going to have to go do this. And which means I'm going to fall behind on some day job and I could try to do 55 things, but I'll just say, okay, we lost some stuff. Like, not the end of the world. Let's get back on track. And I think ADHD, the back on track part happens more frequently. But the worst thing is when the dominoes happen and it cascades, right? Like to the point, okay, now your phone's smashed. Okay, now you missed an important text from a work call. Okay, that's going on. And then like trying to stop the domino and saying, okay, we've knocked down 2 dominoes. Do we want to keep going? Do I want to go for a 10-minute walk and just sit? And like, what I'll do is maybe I'll give myself a voice memo and I'll say, okay, this happened. I'll like take a transcript and I'll maybe send it to ChatGPT. I'm like, here's some of the cognitive things I'm doing on how can we get things back on track and start doing get my core blocks in. And I'm not the best at mentally. I don't know if this is what your husband has, like sequencing all those things of like my mom today asked me if I could meet her at a certain time. And I just said, here's what's going on. Tell me, do I have margin to actually meet her at 5? I tend to be over optimistic. I'll be like, oh, of course I'll be there. And it was like, no, you definitely don't have time. If you're trying to exercise and go to sleep at a regular time, you just unfortunately can't do it. This thing happened. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, I'll get through this thoughtfully. I'm not going to overcommit myself. And like, all right, we'll get back on track. And I think with age, you get better at seeing that, negotiating with it, having it psychologically like not wreck you because it can feel more destabilizing, I think. if your brain is used to being able to get off track.
Yeah.
No, that's a bit of a ramble. That's my TED Talk for the day.
No. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, right? I think there are a lot of challenges. And I think a lot of, I would say, ADHD loved ones, or even, ADHD loved ones, including like, especially non-ADHD partner, doesn't really comprehend how hard sequencing is for many ADHD partners. Because when you're talking about sequencing, what should I do first? What should I do next?
Right.
Sometimes it's very hard. And for my husband, that is really, really hard. And that's why keeping it simple, like you said, is important. That details could really create challenges for ADHD partner if you don't really understand that sequencing could be hard. So,
yeah, you have to get better. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things I can say about sequencing, but I mean, for me personally, I have someone who helps clean my apartment weekly. That helps, and just even though I can keep it clean, she will spend those 4 hours there and see details that maybe I'm gonna miss. I'll be like, Sasha, you're about to run out of X. Which things I won't think about. That's just a layer of insurance. Like, okay, I will always be clean enough. I keep duplicates of different things in different places. I like to give myself some spare time. I think sometimes I think, at least, I don't know if this is what your husband experiences it. I think you're extra perceptive and had a lot of information. You're very observant, but sometimes it's, at least the way I experience it, is like your brain is just like, okay, we have a traffic jam. There's too many things going on. So I swim or maybe journal or whatever, and then I feel like I've processed it out and I've thought through things. And in particular, I sometimes get a lot of interesting ideas. I could do this. I could do this. I could do this. And I think that's the best for the ADHD, but it can also be distracting. Like 2 weeks ago, I made a mini snow shoveling business with a friend. We put out ads, did a couple $100s in sales. It was fun, a little bit distracting. And oftentimes a lot of those things are really helpful, but sometimes it can just be a tangent. So if I sit there and then I say, okay, these are all the things I thought of. Which really should I do? It allows me to, I think, not respond in like this reactive domino chain, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. I appreciate you sharing. I'm going to share this with the members that are subscribed to my site, just especially because this domino effect happened to many. It happens to anyone. I think the challenge is the frequency it happens. For the ADHD partners are really challenging for many, because you're all trying to be the best that you could be, but when you have a domino effect, it does pull you back, and then you have to, like you said, start from square one again, and you have to start all over on certain things. And that is very challenging. So it's like
Yeah.
I tell it like you're like on quicksand. If you move too much, you start sinking a lot faster. So that's never a good feeling to have. But the reality is everybody has that. I have those situations too. It's just ADHD adds really another level of complexity that people really don't really comprehend. So,
like, let's stop. I think stigmatizing the reset part. I think you have to accept it. I budget. I'm gonna lose some things every year, and just like I have to pay my utility bill, I'm gonna pay my losing bill of $30 a month. And so psychologically, when it happens, I'm not like, oh, you idiot, you lost another thing? How can you not try to pay more attention to your surroundings? Of course I do. I don't pride myself on losing some things. But then when that happens, I'm psychologically not throwing myself in the bus, because there is shame associated with this. Like, let's say you have an ADHD partner married to a non-ADHD partner. I know some. And they're familiar with the best parts, the creative, the innovative, the playful, the silly, those parts of the brain. And it's like, you really forgot to do that thing? I needed the groceries. Or you lost my keys? Like, conceptually, I know that it's your brain, etc. But emotionally, I'm pissed. Like, I feel either at the least frustrated, at the most, like, really, like, neglected. It's like, how could you do X? And to that part of I think the ADHD, you're impulsive a little bit. Impulsive or energetic, it's the same spectrum, right? You could be energetic towards things. You could be impulsive. It means like it's easy for you to do lots of things. If that comes in and that trigger of, which I think for an ADHD person, especially unmedicated, you can think of so many things you've lost or forgotten to do or neglected with regards to time, etc. That emotional response can really feel frustrating. You can be put in an anger and shame. And so if that domino effect will continue if you respond in this knee-jerk way, like maybe what would be, let's say the grocery store example. You forgot the groceries. And what we really needed is if you just said, you know what, okay, I'm going to order takeout and then I'm going to clean up the dishes for the kids. But instead you just hop in your car and drive 30 minutes away to get the groceries, et cetera. Because you're like, I'm going to get these things where that energy it's not helping you. And so it's just a constant catching. I'm like, oh, am I feeling pretty frustrated or down or stupid with this? Do I want to follow this high energy idea, or do I want to walk for 2 minutes and think about what I can do to help? So it's just, you got to be patient.
Yeah. I like what you point out is cut yourself some slack. I think that is important because nobody is perfect. You got to cut yourself some slack so that you can continue moving forward. Thank you for sharing.